Virginia Tech and Cal going to meet in the second game of the ACC tournament on Tuesday to get things started. Cal, as the 15 seed, is the last team into the ACC tournament, beating out the heavyweights like Miami, NC State, the conference's last two Final Four teams. Cal ousted to make the ACC tournament. They score off against the Hokies, both of whom looking to kind of start some momentum from nothing in this first game. What's the major storyline or X factor you're looking at in this one?
This is a true sicko's delight, Ralph. I love the ACC. I came up in the ACC. This is my league. If I didn't have to recap this game, I would not be tuning in, dude. These are just two really bad teams. It's there's really no other way to put it. Virginia Tech truly has like an A10 caliber roster. The good news for them is they did get their one good player back, Toby Lawal, who missed two games down the stretch of the season. Played 24 minutes against Clemson. Fortunately, didn't make much of a difference, but I mean, he is a player who has NBA potential. It's kind of go back and forth between the 4 and the 5. He can put the ball on the deck a little bit. Good shooter and just like stupid athleticism, crazy bounce. Only problem is he's like the only player on the Hokies who has one single shred of athleticism. Like the rest of the roster, I don't know. I mean, they have some physicality in the post between Patrick Wessler and Elijah Poteet, but just like listen to what we're talking about here. It's not enough to get you excited. Their guards are young between Ben Hammond and Jaden Young, and they turn it over like crazy. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they're like they just don't seem to value possessions. Their one saving grace is they're a pretty good shooting team. That's like kind of characteristic of Mike Young. Honestly, the fact that this team, with its roster construction, with what appears to me to be a lack of NIL resources, even looking at how they lost Jordan Ivy Curry in the offseason when he decommitted for UCF, it just seems like a horribly under-resourced team. But like the fact that Mike Young got them to 8 conference wins, I think means something. I think it means
Yeah.
he can still coach a little bit. And I get the league is really bad, but yeah, I just hope for his sake, man. Like his teams were so fun when he first started out, and even going back to
Yeah.
the Buzz Williams days, like Virginia Tech is a good enough program where they shouldn't be in this position. They've like their best teams have played a fun brand of basketball. And I don't know, it's just kind of depressing as an ACC fan just to see how sloppy this roster is. And then you look on the other end with the newcomers in Cal, and it's like just as bad.
Yeah. The one thing I will say well, first off, I loved the Ron Washington days of Virginia Tech. Talk about like fun team to watch and fun player to watch. Go watch some Deron Washington dunks on YouTube. You will spend best 5 minutes of the day that you will spend. I think Virginia Tech also, to your point, acknowledged as much when they're like, we're going to bring Mike Young back and we're going to actually give him what he needs to build a team. We're going to put the resources behind it. I think that's very telling. Cal is interesting to me because Cal a month ago we didn't think was going to be in the spot. They were 12 and 11, 5 and 7 in the ACC. Certainly not like a great team competing for a conference title, but a team that was middling in the
Mhm.
ACC. Like was pretty solid. Go play Wake and Duke, lose those games. Understand that. That's fine. They just haven't been able to like really get over the hump since then. You
Yeah.
had an overtime
Yeah.
2 point overtime loss to Georgia Tech, 5 point loss at Stanford, 4 point loss to SMU, got worked by Louisville. Then you had the 4 overtime Notre Dame game. Like to me, Cal has been right there and is a couple possessions away from them. Maybe not even playing on Tuesday, let alone be the last team that makes the tournament. So I'm interested to see how they come out in this game because I think it's very easy to come out dejected, but you could also come out being like, we're not that far away from being a
Mhm.
pretty solid team.
Yeah, the interesting part is like they started the year 135th on Kim Palm and somehow finished 114th. So they rose 20 spots, but they're 13 and 18.
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably am leaning Virginia Tech in this one just with the coaching edge. Like both rosters are really stinky, and Andrei Stojakovic was someone who really came down to earth during league play. Like in the non-conference, he was I think over 20 points a game, just at 15.6 points per game in ACC play, 23.7% from three. Ralph, do you want to guess how many three-point makes Stojakovic had in league play?
I'm gonna go 16 because that's his
Oh,
dad's jersey number.
great guess. It was two under at 14. 14
Ah,
point 14 made threes in conference play. Like that's just
that's
not gonna
ugh.
cut it. And even to hammer this point home, Cal had the lowest 2 point percentage and the lowest 3 point percentage in ACC play. They were 18th of 18th in both of those offensive, like both of those shooting percentages. That's like that seems impossibly tough to do to be that inept
Yeah.
often. I,
Yet,
there,
Ken Pom projects them to win this game. Ken Pom has Cal as a 73 to 71 victor over the Hokies, largely, I think, because of what you've said about the Hokies. You have, I think, a little bit more talent on Cal's side. But the production hasn't always matched that versus a coach and Mike Young that has, I think, kind of maximized this roster, if we're going to be totally honest. So, which side are you taking?
I'm on the Hokies, man. I like again, it comes down to feeling. I don't. I expected more from Madsen in year one. I really did. I thought with how down the ACC has been this year, just having at least a guy with pedigree, a former McDonald's All-American like Stojakovic, plus Ritis Petritis, who was a stat sheet stuffer in the Mountain West, a decent league. I thought those two alone, and even having like I know Madi Sissoko is not good, but he's at least a physical big who can fill a role. Javon Blackshear's had moments throughout his long and
Mhm.
storied career. I thought at least those four could be enough with Madsen's coaching and what he's supposed to be, like his reputation that preceded him, could get them to like a middle tier ACC program. And they have been so far from that that like I got to give the edge to the coach who didn't have to travel across the country, who is still like polished a turd a little bit and getting a few wins in league that he probably shouldn't have. Um, Toby Lawal is probably the best player on the court as well. So yeah, I'll go Virginia Tech in this one.
I think this game is going to be close. And whenever I look at close games in a tournament setting, I'm going to default to the team that has more playmakers. And oftentimes that means more talent. So I'm going to take Cal. I'm going to take Cal by about five, maybe some free throws at the end, extend it out from being a one possession game to two, maybe three. I do think this is close. I think we see a lot of sloppy basketball. I think we see some good basketball in there as well. But I think this is a early round college basketball tournament type game. But it will be close. I I think Cal has been close enough. Like I trust the level they play at more than I trust Virginia Tech. It's gonna be Cal by the slightest of margins.